What's up everyone, this is Julie and I hope you all are doing well and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. And we are actually going to be taking a look at some brand new news that dropped earlier today. This is going to be the Go Battle League updates for the upcoming season of Might and Mastery. And this is referencing the Pokemon Urshifu. It is a legendary Pokemon that is the water and fighting type, and this one was featured in the Pokemon Sword and Shield Isle of Armor DLC. And we are going to go ahead and take a look at all of the Go Battle League updates here on this coming season. And as earlier stated, this is the new upcoming season of Might Mastery beginning Tuesday, March 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And as usual, just go ahead and get the star pieces going when you hit that time for the end of the season so you get maximum Stardust. And taking a look at the schedule, it's mostly standard stuff here for the season. We're starting off with the Great League, Willpower Cup, and then we also have a new cup called the Scroll Cup, which we'll take a look at in just a little bit. Master League, all the leagues. We have the Spring Cup Great League Edition, Master League Premier, all the leagues again, and we also have Retro Cup, which is always a nice cup to play as well. Again, the Retro Cup is all of the original typings without the Fairy, Dark, and Steel types. And then Catch Cup if you want to play that, but no one's really going to play Catch Cup when Great League is still available. And we do have a Go Battle Week coming up on the 21st of May. And this is going to be from Wednesday, May 21st, all the way through Tuesday, May 27th. And then, of course, you can play up to 100 battles per day, so that's pretty sick. And then the rewards, pretty standard rewards. We have Morpeko as a reward Pokemon now. And then we also have Dreepy here, which is pretty nice. And then pretty much the standard stuff from all of the regular Go Battle League encounters, so not going to really take some time to dive into that too much. As usual, you have your reward pass here that you will get on the beginning of the season, so be sure to claim that. We do have a new pose inspired by Mustard, who is one of the DLC characters in the Sword and Shield expansion pass, so that's nice. And then, as we mentioned before, some of the cups that are upcoming, the Willpower Cup, which is again just the fighting Psychic and Dark types, with Gardevoir being banned. The Scroll Cup, which is a new one, which has Water, Fighting, and Dark types, and Primarina is banned, of course, for obvious reasons, because Charm Primarina is pretty OP in that cup, if that were to be the case. Although I wouldn't be surprised to see Azumarill have a lot of prominence there. But then, of course, we'll have to be seeing more Toxapexes as a response to that as well. Spring Cup actually now has a couple of banned Pokemon here, which is nice. Jumpluff, Roserade, which is quite interesting, and Toxapex. Great League Remix, always a nice one. Have some banned Pokemon, which we won't know just yet. I'm sure Niantic will release the details later. Retro Cup, as I mentioned earlier, no Dark, Steel, and Fairy types. And then Catch Cup, of course, we already know that. So now we get to the good stuff here. We're going to be taking a look firstly at the updates to the combat system, which was already the case last season. The switch timer being 50 seconds, that's not going to change. And here we go. Let's start taking a look at these updates. So the first update is Psyshock. We see that Psyshock has a energy cost decrease. So this will actually be very helpful for Pokemon such as Alola Ninetales, Bronzong actually, and a few other notable Pokemon that do have the move. Maybe Hypno with the legacy move of Psyshock might see some play here with that move. Dazzling Gleam has a decrease in power and also a decrease in energy cost. So this is actually going to be pretty helpful. Again, because Dazzling Gleam originally was a pretty high energy move, and reducing the energy will give it a lot of play. So many mons, like again Alola Ninetales, and Togetic, some others, and we'll talk about those later, I'm sure. Aqua Jet is getting a increase in power and also a decrease in energy cost. This will be sort of impactful for a couple of mons that do have the move. I think Golisopod has access to this move, so maybe we could see Aqua Jet being run on Golisopod instead of Liquidation. And Dugong also has access to Aqua Jet, although I wouldn't really imagine why you would run a water type move when you already do have pretty good coverage with Icy Wind and Drill Run with Dugong. So We'll have to wait and see how impactful Aqua Jet will be, but right now, I don't really think this will be too impactful of a move update here. Dynamic Punch getting the energy cost decrease. This is actually quite good. Pokemon such as Machamp, Conkeldurr in the Master League, and then we also have Shadow Golurk, and Medicham actually is actually going to be a beneficiary of this update because Psycho Cuts is actually going to be the preferred fast move for it now. You can run counter still if you want, but I think in general Medicham with Psycho Cut will be good. And then of course, particularly with this Dynamic Punch update, it will be pretty speedy to reach the Dynamic Punch, which is still going to be pretty hard hitting. So we'll probably see more Medichams coming up next season. Sludge, the actual Sludge, not Sludge Bomb or Sludge Wave, actually got a big buff from 50 to 70 power, which is really, really nice. We are going to be seeing like Galarian Weezing potentially get this update. A few other Mons do get this move, but I think as of right now, just Galarian Weezing is going to be a pretty good beneficiary of this update. Hex is actually going to be getting a increase in power and also an energy generation increase, which is also really nice. A lot of ghost type Pokemon do have Astonish and Hex, but it's kind of a toss up because Astonish is really going to be there for the fast move pressure, while Hex is now going to be pretty good for energy generation as well. So with Pokemon that do have access to both moves, I think it's just a wait and see to see which one will perform better. But for Pokemon that do have the move Hex, like Jellicent, Drifblim, again, Drifblim have access to both the Astonish and the Hex. You can run both, but we'll just have to see. But it's still a pretty impactful update for many Ghost type Pokemon that have access to this move. Next is Acrobatics with an energy cost decrease, which is nice for Pokemon like Emolga and Jumpluff again. Jumpluff is actually going to be quite nice with this updates, and then Emolga is actually going to be a pretty good sleeper pick in the Open Great League. And with Acrobatics update, this will be very helpful for it, and to give it more closing power as opposed to Aerial Ace, which is more consistent damage. Air Cutter, decrease in power and also an energy cost decrease. I don't really think Air Cutter will be too impactful. There are a couple of Pokemon that do have access to the move, such as Golbats and Crobats, but honestly, they do need a better fast move because Wing Attack really isn't going to be cutting it too much anymore. Although it could help in certain situations, but we'll just have to see what happens with this move update of Air Cutter. Rock Tomb getting a pretty solid buff here. It's going to be an increase to 80 power from 70. It's going to have a decrease of energy generation, and it will also, it already does this, lower your Pokemon's attack by 1 stage. So Pokemon like Macargo, that's like the most notable one that I'm seeing here. Fortress is actually a very good anti-meta pick, and this definitely will make it stronger. And a couple of other mons like Claydol too, but overall a very, very solid update for the move of Rock Tomb here. And here we are, we're going to have our first nerf, so we speak. The rollout move is going to be down from 1 power from 8 to 7, and rollout is the fast move after all. So a lot of new Pokemon got access to rollout recently, so think of like Dunsparce, Miltank, and Licky Licky. Those 3 specific normal types do have access to rollout, but it wasn't really there for the fast move pressure, it's just more for the energy generation. So while this is a nerf, this isn't really a very impactful one because we'll still be seeing those Pokemon in the meta. It's just that they won't really be doing too much fast move pressure as before. But still, sort of impactful, but not really. That's the main point here. The next move update is Nightshade getting a decrease in power. So this is going to be impacting something like a Galarian Corsola mostly because Galarian Corsola has been pretty consistent and getting a lot of neutral damage. And then I think with this power decrease, it won't really have as many winning matchups as before. But to be fair, it is still a very solid Pokemon. Definitely worth building still. It's just that it won't really be as helpful in winning more neutral matchups with this Nightshade power decrease. Foul Play getting a decrease in power, but also a decrease in energy generation. So this is actually a decrease in energy cost generation, rather. This is actually quite nice. Pokemon like Malamar, um, Umbreon, and to maybe some extent Mandibuzz, but I think Mandibuzz will probably still want to prefer to be running Dark Pulse instead of Foul Play, just because, again, Dark Pulse does have more raw power, and I think you'll definitely be wanting to run that instead of the more consistent damage of Foul Play. So definitely have some good buffs for Foul Play, maybe like a Scrafty, even also like a Shadow Amoonguss. Those are a couple of other sleeper mons with Foul Play that could also benefit from this update. Discharge getting a decrease in power from 65 to 55 and also a decrease in energy cost. So this is actually nice. This will make the move much spammier, so Pokemon like Unova Stunfisk and Emolga once again. Emolga is going to get double buffed here with this update, and it's going to be overall pretty nice. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the attack availability updates. So firstly, we have Piloswine and Mamoswine learning Icicle Spear. This is nice. This is actually going to help provide it very consistent damage. Although definitely not as powerful as Avalanche, I still think there's a case to be made where Piloswine and Mamoswine can definitely be running Icicle Spear for a little bit more cheaper damage or energy actually, but still very consistent damage nonetheless. Togetic and Togekiss get Psyshock. This is nice. Togetic will definitely appreciate the coverage that's needed to handle the poison types here in this meta, although it'll still be struggling against steel types, but who wants to put a Togetic against a steel type anyway? So this is a nice little update for Togetic. For Togekiss, maybe not so much. It's just still nice to have it though. Reuniclus also, but we don't really see Reuniclus too much, so not really the most impactful. Bruxish, very interesting to have Psyshock on it now too. And now we got some fast move updates. Venomoth learning Psywave, which is pretty interesting. Venomoth is maybe anti-meta at the best, but we don't really see it a lot. So we'll have to see how Venomoth will perform with this update. And Lapras getting Psywave. Now this is actually very, very good because Lapras was originally sort of meta, but it kind of fell out due to power creep and all that. Because Water Gun and Ice Shard, they're okay fast moves, but with Psywave, it actually helps Lapras immensely, and it will help it get to moves much, much quicker. So we could probably see a very big resurgence of Lapras in the coming season, and I'm genuinely very excited for this specific update. Grumpig getting Psywave too. This is actually quite nice. Grumpig always had a very bad fast move of Extra Sensory, and Psywave is miles better. So we'll definitely be seeing Grumpig, maybe not like extensively in the meta, but we will definitely see some here and there for sure. And especially with the new moves that it has. If it does have Psychic, it does have Shadow Ball. So we'll be seeing some more of Grumpig in the next season, definitely. Furret getting Swift, that's quite nice. And then Linoon getting Swift as well. It's also pretty good for it. Definitely a good bait move to have. Drampa getting Swift, also very nice for it as well. It's good for Drampa to have a bait move. Previously it was Fly, but now it has Swift, so that's very nice, and it's also Stab. Grumpig, again, getting Dynamic Punch, which is also very nice. Gives it some good coverage against Dark types, against normal types, against Rock types, Steel types, so very, very nice update for Grumpig here. Dusknoir getting Dynamic Punch. This is actually very, very helpful for it because previously Dusknoir was stuck with just all Ghost type moves, and if it's up against like a normal type or something, it would be like completely walled. But Dusknoir having the additional coverage would be greatly a great help to it. So definitely a very welcome update for Dusknoir here. Lapras getting Sparkling Aria. That's going to be interesting because Lapras did have Surf, but Surf kind of fell down in favor a little bit. So we could see Sparkling Aria kind of come into play here for Lapras. And it is a little bit of a misprint there. It's supposed to be the water type and not the fairy type move. And Sableye getting Dazzling Gleam. That's actually quite interesting too. Definitely good to have some closing power on the Sableye. But I think still Foul Play and Return overall would be nice for the Purified one. But Dazzling Gleam can definitely catch some opponents off guard. So this is a nice update for Sableye. Ribombee getting Charm is okay. It already has Fairy Wind, but the only thing with Rabombi is that it's just only nuke moves as its charge moves. So having Charm won't really help it too much, although it will help Rabombi to play differently if that's what you want to have, like a double Charm play style. Although if you want to have Rabombi as a closer, probably good to have Fairy Wind on it instead. Now Blastoise getting rollout. Wow, that's actually quite nice. This is going to really help it in other matchups too. So this could be a very impactful update, especially for Blastoise. So Rollout, Hydro Cannon, and Ice Beam, very nice. Kanto Weezing with rollouts, okay. I don't really think it's going to be the most impactful, but it's still pretty nice that they included that on Weezing. Whalmer and Wailord getting rollout. That's actually quite interesting too. Glalie, same thing, very interesting. Credilli getting Rock Tomb. That's actually going to be very helpful for it. Because right now Credilli is running Rock Slide, which is not the greatest Rock type move anymore because of the nerf to it. So having Rock Tomb for very consistent damage and also having the guaranteed debuff to the opponent's attack is actually quite nice for Credilli. So we'll probably see again more Credilli. Credilli's always been a very good anti-meta Pokemon, but I would imagine with this update there'll be much more play with Credilli this time around. Bombardier has access to Rock Tomb, which is quite nice, um, and it is going to help with additional coverage, so that's good. Swampert getting the move of Sludge, so that's actually quite nice because Sludge was a very low energy move, but it always was bad in power. But now with the power updates to Sludge, we could probably see Hydro Cannon and Sludge being run on Swampert. But we'll just have to see how good Swampert is. I think it's always been okay, but because of power creep once again and because of the Mudshot nerf, it hasn't really been used all that often anymore. But who knows? Maybe we can see some more Swamperts come back in again. And Swalot, the same thing, has access to Sludge now, which is nice. Dragalge has Sludge Bomb, so that's actually really good. Some good consistent coverage here against a lot of the fairy types as well, so that's good. Roserade getting Poison Sting, so that's actually a very interesting play style here for Roserade, because Roserade's had Bullet Seed, which is okay, Poison Jab for heavy fast move pressure, and now with Poison Sting, it can play differently, so it can get to the Weather Balls very, very quickly, and also get to Leaf Storm very quickly as well. So we could also see a rise of Roserades running Poison Sting, but depending on what you want to cover, you can definitely still use the other two fast moves that are still pretty viable. Furret getting Trailblaze, which is very nice. Linoon getting Trailblaze too, which is also very, very good, and I think definitely very helpful for it as well. Florges getting Trailblaze. It's good to have nice grass type coverage because Petal Blizzard on Florges is not good. Mightyena getting Sucker Punch, which is great. Previously it was Bite and the Elemental Fangs, but having Sucker Punch for very good consistent damage as a Dark type fast move is nice. Belly Bolt getting Sucker Punch is always nice. Definitely a good break from the all electric moveset. And Bombardier getting Sucker Punch, which is very good. It could be kind of like a Galarian Moltres Light in the Great League. So with Sucker Punch, Fly, and then Ancient Power, or I think in this case Rock Tomb. So this will be interesting to see Bombardier as opposed to Galarian Moltres being run in the Great League. So those are all of the updates for this season, and oh my goodness, a lot of stuff. I'm very, very excited, especially for the Lapras, the Blastoise, and a couple of other ones. I think Togetic with Psyshock is quite nice too. But yeah, those are all of the updates for the upcoming season. Let me know what do you guys think about these updates. Which one are you most excited for? Please feel free to let me know in the comments. And as usual, if you guys want to stay up to date with any other upcoming videos that I do have, please feel free to hit the notification bell. And that's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much. I'll catch you guys in the next video.